looking at the camera. Hi, camera. My name is Rachel.
Performer.
Rachel Jackson.
Writer.
Because Rachel Jackson is the name that everybody's going to remember.
So, Rachel has inspired me with her words because I feel we have similar situations in life, and she was able to take those situations and actually talk about them and say how they made her feel. She told her feelings to the world, whether she was sad, frightened, upset about something. Even sometimes she cried because she was so upset, which made me realize that she really felt something about it and that it was serious. And since it was so serious to her, it made me think this issue should be serious to me as well, because it has also happened in my life. So it just made me think about different situations, and I believe she uses her words to make people think about situations in their lives that make them want to change something or fight for a better cause, I guess. And but other than that, I enjoy listening to Rachel, and I know it makes me happy.
Let's see. Well, I met her freshman year. Her Wally book bag and her shower cap to keep her hair from getting wet in the rain. I mean, at that moment in time, it was like, oh, this is a strange, weird person. But I mean in a good way, because I mean, I myself am weird too. But once I got to know her a little better and was able to listen to her and her aspirations, and then hearing like what she wanted to do, like with building a school, I was like, oh wow, she is really striving to do a lot of things. And then like when I would go to her performances and hear the poems that she had written, is even opened my eyes even more to like the skill level that she had with piecing words together and using her discourse to make people think and make you think critically and go beyond what you think you knew, and expose you to a different side of thing, or expose you to something that you already knew about but in a different way. Overall, it was just making you challenge things a little bit more and wonder, which I think is really great, because sometimes, you know, in different types of writing and writers, you just get that surface level, this is what it is, blah blah blah, not really putting it in an artistic way, that also makes you think and challenge and critique, and also overall just really want to know more. So I think Raych Jackson is a phenomenal, inspirational, and just overall awkward, awesome person. And I'm really, really lucky to know her.
So, Rachel Jackson's words to me really have a lot of different layers, which you don't see a lot in contemporary writing. What I would say is she talks about things at first that are like, on the surface, they can be very pop culture oriented, they can be really funny, but then there's always a deeper underlying current in her stuff, in her pieces that you kind of really have to look into and think about later. And by that I mean she often has you wondering and thinking, where did that come from and what is that saying? And after a little bit of thought and reflection, you can usually find a deeper meaning in her poems. The first time I saw Rachel perform, I watched her perform something about the different Power Rangers, and what was interesting about that was it was culturally relevant, it was really, really funny, but then it had a second layer that was more, I don't want to say political, but for some reason that, for lack of a better term, that's what I'm going to have to say, political. It had a more social commentary aspect to it. So for me, her writing makes me think, not only just like topically, but it makes me think for hours and hours on end. So I really enjoy it. And I think that she's really, really a good role model, like for young people, because I talk to her frequently and I hear her talk about the things that she speaks to her students about their young kids in elementary school, and she's having them think about things on a level that really challenges them, and she's teaching them how to communicate, use their words, be able to put words to incidents and things in their lives that they might not be able to explain. And I think that's a good thing.
My name is Brittany Blackrose Capri, and I am a teaching artist with Young Chicago Authors. A former competitor of Louder Than a Bomb. That is actually where I met Rachel, Big Rachy Raych, a bunch of other nicknames that are useless. And she was a skinny girl in a long jean skirt, and I didn't take her seriously. And it was ridiculous because she's phenomenal. We became friends like a year later, and I wish that I hadn't been so childish when I first met her, because she's a phenomenal woman, as she was then, and a beast writer, and an even more inspirational and driven educator. Rachel and I have similar end goals. You know, we've decided that we would like to open up a school together, because you can't invest in children if you have to teach somebody else's curriculum. And Rachel's the one that actually taught me that. You know, when I went to college, I just planned on, going to education, going to CPS, and having to fight for my kids. And I knew that I was gonna have to fight through a lot of bureaucratic mess. And Rachel inspired me to, make my own bureaucratic mess. Build my own curriculum. And I thank her for that. As an artist, she's one of the most driven people I've ever met. She's way too hard on herself. She's a phenomenal writer with little ego. Sometimes you need little ego to make it in this world, especially when it comes to art. And she spends every day trying to be a better person, a better writer, a better artist, a better performer, a better whatever it is, whatever adjective she's using to describe herself at the moment. She's a beast. As an artist, I've watched her grow drastically, and I think at some point, possibly maybe, she might have sillied herself and thought she looked up to me as a writer, and we are definitely equals. When Rachel gets on stage, the whole room stops, as they should, and the whole room listens. And very few poets are commanding enough to make an entire room stop and think. Because, people will pretend to listen to you, and people will pretend to understand you, and people will pretend that they know you or know what you're trying to say. And Rachel gives people an end to her words and an end to her story by letting them put their story in there. And so when Rachel's on stage, everybody thinks about what she's saying, thinks about what they're feeling, thinks about what happened to them, what could happen to them, how this relates to them. And that's one of the best things to do as a writer, especially as a performer. I have had the pleasure of working with many students that she has mentored or coached, and they are phenomenal writers. She's still coaching people, even though she's so close to graduation and doing job interviews and student teaching. She's got all this weight on her shoulders as a scholar and as an artist and a teaching artist, and she's still taking the time out to edit people's poems, and give them feedback and go to people's shows and support. And that same energy and love you can see in her mentees. Kids that grew up looking up to Rachel are now taking on the role as educators, as performers, as artists, as, adults, as scholars. And you can see the same passion that she exhibits in them. And it's phenomenal. She's one of my best friends, and we're in the same field. We both want to be teachers, and we're both performance poets. And, any day now she could take a job from me. And that's okay. Because I don't think anybody deserves it more than her.
My name is Raych Jackson, Raych Jackson. I am a poet, educator, writer, performer based out of Chicago. The way I feel my work has impacted different people is giving them an avenue to to push thinking and ask why more. I base my work off of a speech from Martin Luther King right before he got shot, when he was becoming extremely revolutionary and just told people, you need to ask why more. Why is this happening? Why are neighborhoods separated by expressways? That kind of thing. So I always tie that into my work. I didn't know what else to do. I was just like...